Hmm. Also log in into your org. Sharing 05 02. ठीक है, ठीक है. Relationships. So relationship in short means with the help of relationship we create an association between the two objects. Yes, with this relationship we create the association between two objects. So दिस इज द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट टॉपिक. अभी तक जितना भी आपने पढ़ा तो उसमें से अब तक का सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट टॉपिक जो है वो ये है, रिलेशनशिप. And you can expect, you can expect this to be the second or third or maybe the fourth question inside your interview. Once they have done with all this introduction part, this is the very first question that is probably they could ask you in the interview, what are the different sort of relationships. Okay. So whenever we create relationship between there are, first of all, there are two objects, there are two objects. Whenever we create the relationship, how to create the relationship, that is what we are going to learn inside this particular topic. Then what are the different types of relationship and what are the features of every relationship, that is what we are going to learn with this. It's a bit lengthy topic, but then we are going to learn so many things inside this particular topic. So see, whenever we create the relationship, there must be two objects. First of all, there must be two objects. Now, one of them, one of them should be parent. The second one should be the child. One of them should be the parent and the second one is the child. Now, how to create the relationship? How to create the relationship? That is what we are going to learn here. Let me see whether I have any diagram for this or not. If I have any diagram, I'll try to explain it with that. Otherwise, I will create one diagram. Actually, creating a diagram will eventually require some time, So I try to have some diagram if I have in 02. We see whether I have this diagram. Let me try to explain you with the help of this diagram. Because actually it takes me some time, I create this diagram, it takes some time. Rather, I should explain you with this. So here, what I demonstrate you is that we have two objects. As you see, we have two objects. One of them is book, one of them is book object, and the second one is the author object. अभी मैं जितना मैं आपको बोल रहा हूँ, you just need to concentrate only on these entities. जितना मैं आपको बोलते जा रहा हूँ, ठीक है. Otherwise मुझे क्या करना पड़ेगा? I need to create a fresh diagram. It's obviously going to take 5 to 10 minutes. So उतना बचाने की कोशिश है कि मैं जितना ज्यादा हो सके एक्सप्लेन कर पाऊँ, जितना ज्यादा हो सके आपको बता पाऊँ कम समय में. So we have two objects here. One of them is book, the second is author. And you also see that there are, there are few fields inside this, that book ID, name, and ISBN number. Up to these three, up to these three is what I'm talking about. So we have one object called as book, and this book object is having all these three fields. This book object is having all these three fields: book ID, name, and the ISBN number. And there are few records which are stored inside this book object. You see, there is a record called as Advanced Java, a name called as Advanced Java, whose book ID number is this, and this is the ISBN number. There's another book whose ID is 002, and the name is DBMS with this, and there is another book 003, 004, and then 005. So in this way, what we see is that inside the book object, inside the book object, these many are the number of the records which are already being there. We also have one more object called as author. Author have these, three columns: author ID, name, and the locations. And then we have, inside the author, we have this Bal Guru Swami, maybe J.K. Rawlings, and then Yashwant Kanitkar, and then R.K. Sharma. These are the few authors which is having these IDs, and they belongs to this location. Right now, I have two objects. Both of the objects is having few records inside this. We presently have two objects. Both of them is having few records inside this. Okay? Both of them is having few records inside this. Up to this is what I'm telling you. Up to this is what I'm telling you. We have two objects, and then both of them is having few records inside this, right? Now, what I want is that I want to create a relationship between these two objects. Presently, you see these two objects are not related. Let me try to show you something. Let me try to modify this diagram a little bit. So, let me try to modify this diagram. Now, see. So we have these two objects with us. One of the object is book, the second object is author. You know, one of the object is book, the second object is author. Book object is having these many records as you see. Also, your author object is having these many records. You know, both of them is having some few records inside this. Now, what I want is that I want to create a relationship between these two objects. I want to map an association. You know, I want to create a relationship. I want to map one association between these two objects. I want to relate book and author objects. I mean, I need to create a relationship. Presently, these are not related. Let's assume that presently they are not related. So, what are the two steps? You know, whenever you go for a relationship, creating a relationship is actually a two-step job. You know, creating a relationship is two-step job. It's actually a two-step job. Let me show you something. What are the steps that are required to create a relationship? Whenever we try to create a relationship is relationship, creating a relationship is two-step job. This one is an interview question. मैंने कल एक बात बोली है. Everything what I say over here, you need to note it down. Everything, whatever I say during this relationship concept, you need to note it down. If I'm saying this, creating a relationship is a two-step job. Okay. Although I didn't tell you the question, what are the two steps of creating a relationship? How will you create the relationship? How will you map the relationship? How will you associate one object to another? These could be the questions which we ask in the interview. You know, what is the answer? Creating a relationship is the two-step job. Okay. Creating a relationship is a two-step job. What is the first step? We have two objects. Among the two objects, you need to identify, or it could be written inside your document. You know, we always work on one document. As an we learn this, we as a software engineer, as a developer, as a system administrator, we have been provided one document. We always follow that document. There are so many different names for this document. Sometimes they call this document to be the IDD, interface detail document. Sometimes they call this to be the requirement document. Sometimes they call this to be the user story. Sometimes they call this to be the SOW, scope of work. So basically, there are so many names for this document. But ultimately, you need to identify among the two objects, which object is your parent object, which one is the child object. So, bhai sahab, identifying the first thing, you know, identifying the parent and the child is your first step. Now, if they ask you in the interview, how will you create the relationship between the two objects? The answer is creating a relationship. Creating a relationship is two-step job. I hope you guys are writing all this. Okay. Please don't be like an audience. You know, you please need to write it down. Whatever the points we are discussing, these are essentially important. Let me once again clear this. I mean, those who have joined it later. So let me clear you this. You know, we have started a topic that is going to be the third and the fourth question of your interview. From here only you started with the interviews. Okay. So the question could be asked like this: what is the way to create the relationship? How you can associate the two objects? So creating a relationship is a two-step job. First of all, out of the two objects, the step number one is to identify which object is your parent, which object is your child. Which object is the parent, which object is the child object. Okay. This is step number one. So let me go here. Now here I make one assumption. This book object is my child object. This author object is my parent. Why I'm making this assumption? Okay, it could be possible in a document that was shared to me. You know, inside that document, it has been written clearly that you should make the author to be the parent and book to be the child. And that is why I'm following that document. And so This author object is the parent and book object is the child. So I'm following that document. Let's assume that we have one document. According to that document, we created these two objects. And then we came to know about the same document. From the same document, we came to know that your author is the parent and book is the child. So I just write on here, your author is the parent and book is the child object. This was step number 1. Okay, this was step number 1. Now the step number 2, you need to go to the child object and create a custom field. That custom field is called as relationship field. Okay, you need to go to the child object, and there you need to create one relationship field. Inside the child object, you need to create one additional field. What type of field? We have created so many fields. We learn the data types and then we learn how to create the fields. So far we have created so many different types of field, like text field, like rich text, like text area long, like auto number. Okay, then maybe like check boxes, like pick list, like multi select pick list. This is what we have so far created. So we learn the data type and then we have created the fields inside the object. Now also you are going to do the same thing. So what you are going to do is that first of all you need to go to the child object. Always remember, ये मैं आज इतना detail से ले रहा हूँ, and this is going to be the last time when I discussing this all in this detail. इसके बाद में फिर इतना detail मेरे ख्याल इसके ऊपर अब discussion नहीं होगा. So बहुत ध्यान से सुनिए, कान खुले रखें, ध्यान कहीं भटकने मत दीजिए. How to create the relationship? First of all, identify among the two objects by which one is the parent, which one is the child. Once you know which one is the child, go to that child object. Go to child object. Create one field, one custom field. The field called as relationship field, sometimes called as the reference field. Where you need to create this? You need to create this inside the child object. And that field, that reference field will always contain the parent record ID. मैं सब diagram से समझाऊंगा. Please don't worry about the theory. If you're getting it, it's a good thing. If you don't getting it, please don't worry about this. Just learn the theory. What we need to do, we should go to the child object, create a field over there. What type of field? Relationship field. Sometimes this field is also called as reference field. Okay, so create a relationship field, create a reference field inside what? Inside the child object. What is this field is going to store? This field is going to store the parent record IDs. The record IDs of the parent object. The record IDs of the parent object. Now let's see what I mean with all this. Let's see what I mean with all this. Go to the child object. Go to the child object. Create one field over here. Create one field over. I'm creating one field over here. One field I'm creating. I could give any name XYZ over here. What is this field is going to store? It is going to store the parent's record ID. Let me tell you what this field is going to store. Let me tell you what this field is going to store. For example, let's see that your book is the child object, parent is the author. This book Java, advanced Java, this book has been written. For example, this book has been written by Abal Guru Swami. This book Advanced Java has been written by Bal Guru Swami. He is the author of this book. What is the object? What is the record ID of Bal Guru Swami? The record ID is 101. The record ID of Bal Guru Swami is 101, and that is why this particular column will have 101. I'm going to paste out this column over here. First, let me try to explain with this. Then I will delete this and paste this column over. The second book is DBMS. And let's say that, DBMS is also written by Bal Guru Swami. Bal Guru Swami is a versatile person. He has written 2 books. He has written Java. In fact, he has also written DBMS. And that is why, who's the author of this book? Again, Bal Guru Swami. Mr. Bal Guru Swami is the author of this book. So what is the record ID of the Bal Guru Swami? The record ID is 101. Once again, this particular row, this particular column will store 101. What is this value 101? This is value 101 is the ID. If I ask you 101 is what? You tell me, sir, it is record ID. If I ask you 101 is what? You tell me, sir, it's a record ID. Okay, it's a record ID. Got it. But whose record? It's a parent record. Author what? Author object is your parent object. This is this record. This record Bal Guru Swami, The Balguru Swami is the parent record. This is the ID of parent, and it is stored over here. It is stored over here. So now this reference field will always stored. This reference field, this relationship field will always store record IDs. Whom record ID? Parent record ID. Let's go to mathematical book. Maths book is written by R.K. Sharma, a very popular author in the engineering. R.K. Sharma. Okay. So this book maths is written by R.K. Sharma. So let me have the ID of R.K. Sharma. The ID of R.K. Sharma is 104. So this this particular value will be 104, like this. Let's go to C programming. C programming has been written by Yashwant Kanitkar, a well-known personality of Nagpur itself. Who's the ID? What's the ID of Yashwant Kanitkar? It's 103. Let us see book. Let us see book. And unbelievably, Yashwant Kanitkar is a mechanical engineer. Unbelievably, Yashwant Kanitkar is a mechanical engineer. See how far he has gone with his knowledge in the computers and the programming. Okay, now Salesforce, Salesforce book has been written by J.K. Rowling. Although J.K. Rowling is the author of Harry Potter, this is just an example. So here I need to write down this 102 over here. Now you must have understood, this with this column, this relationship is formed. Forget about lookup relationship. Nothing. We are going to discuss this later. With this column, with this, I created one column inside the child object. I created one column, I created one field. Columns are field. Name is a field. Name is a column. Book ID is a field. Book ID is a column. ISBN is a field. ISBN is a column. So inside the table, it's column. Database पे इसको column बोलते हैं. UI पे इसको field बोलते हैं. Database पे इसको object table बोलते हैं. UI पे इसको object बोलते हैं. So try to understand this, है ना? कोई बहुत बड़ी चीज नहीं. Contact is what? Contact is an object. Book is what? Book is an object. कहाँ पे? User interface level. और database में book क्या है? Book is a table. Book ID, name, ISBN ये fields हैं. Object में अंदर fields हैं. कहाँ पर? User interface level. Now book ID, name, and ISBN. These are what? These are the columns. So what I told you, go to the child object. Once you identify which one is the parent, which one is the child, go to child object. Step number 1, identify which one is the parent. Author is the parent. Book is the child. Step number 1 completed. Now go to step number 2. Go to child object. Create one field. Field creation यानी column creation. Create one field with one suitable name. I given this name to be the author ID. Okay. Now let me have this field over here. Now let me have this field over. Let me bring this field once again back to over. Maybe like this. Okay. So I created one more field over here called as author ID. With this name, I created one field whose name is author ID. And this field will going to store the parent record ID. Advanced Java book has been written by Balguru Swami. And so the ID of Balguru Swami 101 we are going to write in this particular. DBMS is also written by Balguru Swami. And so the entry is 101. Maths book is written by R.K. Sharma, and so 104. C programming written by Yashwant Kanitkar, so 103. Salesforce written by J.K. Rowling, and so 102. So if you create, if you go to the child object, create a column like this, which actually contains the record ID of the parent, record ID of the parent, record ID of the parent. So this means you have associated these two objects. You have created a relationship between these two objects. You have created a relationship between these two objects. So now and onwards, whenever someone asks you this question, first of all, what is a relationship? How to create a relationship? What is a relationship? Relationship means creating an association, creating a mapping, joining the two objects. आपको जो डेफिनेशन देनी है दीजिए, लेकिन खामोश नहीं रहेंगे. डेफिनेशन देना पड़ेगा, बोलना पड़ेगा, ठीक है? So what is a relationship? Relationship means combining two objects. Now, what are the steps to create relationship? How do you create relationship? How you have created relationship in your project? Any question, कोई भी question पूछे, answer is simple. If you want to create a relationship between two objects, there are two steps. There are two steps. Step number 1, go to, just identify among the two objects which one is the parent, which one is the child. That's step number 1. And then step number 2, go to the child object, create one relationship field or reference field inside the child object. That reference field will going to store the IDs. What kind of ID? Parents record ID. And in this way, the relationship is created between the two objects. Okay. So this is how we create the relationship. This is how we create the relationship. Now, what are the different types of relationships? One more tricky question. See, 80% of the cases when they ask this question, out of 10, every eight candidate will only say, or maybe 7 candidate will say, there are 3 kinds of relationship. There were only few candidates, those who are going to say there are 4 different types of relationship. And there are very, very few candidates, you are going to be among them. They will say there are altogether 6 different kinds of relationship. Why? Because, इतना डिटेल से किसी को पता ही नहीं रहता है, इतना डिटेल से किसी को पढ़ाया ही नहीं जाता है, और इतना डिटेल से किसी भी वीडियो पे अवेलेबल नहीं होता है. So now if they ask you this question, if you say that there are 6 kind of relationship, immediately you got their attention immediately, because वो 10 इंटरव्यू लेने के बाद 11वें बंदे आप हो और पिछले 10 लोगों ने कहा कि there are 3 kinds of relationship, some say there are 4 kinds of relationship. Now how come you come and you are saying that there are 6 kind of relationship? Immediately you are going to get the attention. Okay, he is saying that 6 kind of relationship. Tell me what are the different 6 kind of relationship. Directly, there are 4 kinds of relationship. Direct, there are 4 relationships. Lookup, external lookup, master detail, and hierarchical relationship. These are the 4 direct relationships inside the salesforce. Many of them only knows 3. Some of them knows hierarchical also. Those who have worked on the user object, they know the hierarchical relationship, otherwise not. I will tell you how. ठीक है, मैं हर चीज explain करूँ. Don't worry. Only few of you are the people, those who are going to say, apart from these 4 direct relationship, we can even create many to many and one to one relationship. Many to many and one to one relationship. So whenever they ask you this question in the interview, how many different kinds of relationship are there? Always answer, there are altogether 6 different types of relationship. और मेरा इतना समझाने के बाद भी मुझे नहीं पता क्या वजह है, या तो मेरी इंग्लिश वजह है इसकी या मेरी हिंदी वजह है, मुझे नहीं पता कि इतना समझाने के बाद भी अभी संडे के दिन मॉक हुआ है पिछली बैचेस का, एंड दे वर टेलिंग देयर आर 4 टाइप्स ऑफ रिलेशनशिप. मतलब मुझे ये नहीं पता कि अब इसके बाद मैं कौन सी जुबान इस्तेमाल करूं जिसमें मैं आपको समझाऊं. मराठी मुझे आती नहीं है, 2 ही लैंग्वेज आती है, हिंदी और इंग्लिश. इतनी अच्छे से समझाने के बावजूद भी मेरे ही लोग कह रहे हैं कि देर आर 4 काइंड्स ऑफ रिलेशनशिप, जबकि पढ़ाई गई है 6 तरह की रिलेशनशिप, और बोला है मैंने कि बोलिए बोलिए 6 तरह की रिलेशनशिप, और मेरे ही बंदे मॉक में बोल रहे हैं कि 4 तरह की रिलेशनशिप. अब मेरे पास अल्फाज ही नहीं है इस चीज के लिए कि मैं क्या बोलूं. ठीक है, तो देखिए हर चीज इंपॉर्टेंट है. मैंने पहले ही कह दिया, कल ही अनाउंस कर दिया हूं कि हर एक शब्द जो बोल रहा हूं वो इंपॉर्टेंट है. ठीक है, आपको लिखना पड़ेगा, आपको याद करना पड़ेगा, हर शब्द इंपॉर्टेंट है. और ये संडे के दिन मुझे बहुत बड़ा झटका लगा जब मेरे ही पढ़ाए हुए लोग मॉक में, ठीक है, माइंड ट्री से बंदा था जिसने मॉक लिया है, और करीब 11 लोगों के मॉक हुए हैं, और मैं तो रहता ही हूँ मॉक में, तो ये 4 ही रिलेशनशिप कह रहे हैं. आई वाज सरप्राइज्ड, आई वाज सिंपली सरप्राइज्ड कि ये क्या बोल रहे हैं ये लोग. और थे कुछ लोग थे ऐसे, मतलब बाकी लोगों ने कहा कि यस देयर आर ऑल टुगेदर 6 काइंड ऑफ रिलेशनशिप, बट स्टिल इन माय बैच आल्सो पीपल आर सेइंग दैट देयर आर 4 काइंड ऑफ रिलेशनशिप. आई वाज सिंपली शॉक्ड, ये क्या बोल रहे हैं आप. खैर छोड़िए, आपसे उम्मीदें हैं आप लोगों से कि आप लोगों से जब ये सवाल पूछा जाएगा तो आप लोग कहेंगे कि ऑल टुगेदर देयर आर 6 काइंड ऑफ रिलेशनशिप, 4 आर डायरेक्ट, 2 वी कैन इनडायरेक्टली क्रिएट. यस वी कैन क्रिएट मेनी टू मेनी एंड वन टू. ठीक है, ऑल टुगेदर देयर आर 6 काइंड ऑफ रिलेशनशिप. रिमेंबर दिस, गांठ बांधिए इस चीज को. चलिए स्टेप्स में आपको पहले समझा चुका हूँ. I told you it's a bit lengthy topic, so that's why I have written, because I don't want to forget the things. I want to cover each and every point, and these are the things what we are going to learn within this topic. We are going to learn what is a lookup relationship. After lookup, you are going to see what does lookup dialog box configuration and a filter configuration actually. Lookup dialog box and lookup filter configuration, we are going to see this. We are going to discuss after this, after lookup is completed, the second kind of relationship we are going to discuss is the master detail relationship. After that, one additional feature called as roll-up summary we are going to discuss. After roll-up summary, we are going to see three different kinds of standard relationship. What is the spatial behavior of these relationships? That is what we are going to discuss. And it's really, really, really important to understand all these three standard relationships, because है कुछ वजह इसकी जानने की, इसलिए मैं इसको भी डिस्कस करूंगा. उसके बाद मैं हायरार्किकल रिलेशनशिप डिस्कस करूंगा. यहाँ पर आपकी लुकअप, मास्टर डिटेल, हायरार्किकल कवर हो जाती है. इसके बाद I will give you external lookup relationship as an assignment. Once you completed with the lookup relationship, learning external lookup relationship is just a theory. It is as good as lookup relationship. The same steps what you follow to create a lookup relationship is going to be followed in the external lookup relationship also. I will give you this an assignment. You will find some good literature from the Google. You will try to create your own notes of this and you will learn this, and you find that lookup and external lookup, they are same. There's only one conceptual difference between them. That is what you are going to tell me. What is the difference between lookup and external lookup? So you are going to create one difference between this also. Okay, this one will be assignment. After this, we are going to see many to many and a standard junction object and one-to-one relationship, and then converting a lookup to the master, and then vice versa, converting the master to the lookup. These all are the topics that we are periodically going to learn within this particular relationship topic. Okay, everything is important. तो यहाँ कोई भी चीज मैं छोड़ूंगा नहीं, हर चीज डिटेल से समझाऊंगा. लेट्स स्टार्ट विद द फर्स्ट रिलेशनशिप. सबसे पहली रिलेशनशिप जो है ये है लुकअप रिलेशनशिप. ठीक है, चलिए यूज केस लेते हैं. सबसे बेस्ट तरीका, प्रॉब्लम लीजिए, सॉल्व कीजिए. सो द फर्स्ट यूज केस इज configure a lookup relationship between hiring manager and the position object. Let me first have these two objects on the canvas. Let me go to the setup menu. ठीक है, I do one thing, कस्टमर की मुझे जरूरत नहीं है. Let me first remove this customer from here. ठीक है, तीन ही ऑब्जेक्ट रखता हूँ. Let me remove the customer from. काफी दिन से सोच रहा था मैं कस्टमर को हटा दूं. आज फाइनली हटा ही लेते हैं इसको, तो हमें इसकी जरूरत नहीं है. Now let me have these two objects. These two objects means what? We should create a relationship between hiring manager and the position. What kind of relationship? Create a lookup relationship. So presently, let me see. Let me bring these two objects, hiring manager and the position, on the canvas. Let me bring these two objects first of all. So let me go to this schema builder. Let me go to the schema builder, and then let's have this hiring manager and the position. Okay, so let's have these two objects. Go to the not the standard, go to the custom object. Within these all are the custom object that we have created. Okay, so let me bring the hiring manager and the position over here. So now we have these two objects. I have hiring manager and I have position object. Now you see there is no relationship. Presently there is no relationship between these two objects. These two are individual objects, hiring manager and the position. Now these two are the individual objects. Presently I can see there is no relationship between these two objects. Now let's create a relationship between these two objects. Create a relationship between these two objects, hiring manager and the position. Let's discuss. What is the first step of creating a relationship? Yes, what is the first step? Who is going to tell me this?
Identify the child and parent.
बोलिए बोलिए, बोलने में अगर किसी ने बोल दिया तो आप नहीं बोल सकते, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है.
Which is the object is the parent and which is the object is the child.
Identify
बोलिए
the parents and the child.
और लोग. I want the answer from few silent killers.
Identify the
So
parent
firstly,
and
we
child
need to
object.
identify which one is the parent object or child object.
Identify the parent and child object.
So first step we need to identify parent object and child object.
Exactly. Thank you so much everyone. So as an step number one, हमें देखना है कि out of these two, which one is the parent, which one is the child. So see, अभी आपका क्या assumption है पता नहीं, but according to my assumption, hiring manager is the parent. Why? Because position comes under the hiring manager. So hiring manager is the person, he is the authority who actually handles a position. So in my opinion, the hiring manager is the parent and position is the child of. This is my opinion. If you are, अगर आप भी इसमें मानते हैं तो हम आगे बढ़ सकते हैं. Because hiring manager is that person who actually handles the position. है ना? अगर position है और hiring manager नहीं है, कोई मतलब ही नहीं. Who is going to recruit that position? Who is going to fulfill that position? There must be a hiring manager. So having a parent is essentially important. Parent है तो child है. Parent ही का existence नहीं है तो child कहाँ से आ गया? So with all these, psychological reasons, with all these good reasons, what I can say is that hiring manager is your parent object, and position is your child object. Okay. So now we identify this, कि hiring manager हमारा parent है, position हमारा child object है. So let's come back to our notes. Here we have written these two objects. I written hiring manager, I written position. Then I decided with you who is the parent. So we come to this conclusion that hiring manager is the parent object, position is the child object. Now, if you know this, okay, who's the parent, who's the child, if you know this is the step number 1. Now, what is this step number 2? Yes, what is this step number 2? Step number 2. Come on, once again.
Creating the
We just have to create.
Just need to create relationship content
Create the relationship inside the object.
Inside the
child object.
child object. So that is what I was expecting. Go to the child object, create a relationship field. So every time, remember, whenever a relationship is created, it is always created on the child object. It is always created on the child object. Remember this. Now go to the child object, go to child object, yani go to position object, create a new field over here. How you create a field? Expand the force.com quick access menu, expand the force.com quick access menu, go to view fields. In front of view fields, you have this option new. We click this new, and this is how we have created so many fields. Now we see we have created like the fields called currencies, maybe checkbox, maybe the date, time, email, geolocation, phone, text area, time. These are the fields what we have seen. Now is the time to see the relationship field. You see there are 3 different kinds of names listed out over here, and that is why most of the people they answer there are 3 kinds of relationship because they have seen 3 names on this particular database page. They have seen these 3 names on this data type page. Lookup relationship, master detail relationship, external lookup relationship. ज्यादातर लोग ये आंसर देते हैं बिकॉज उन्होंने इतना ही देखा है. आपने जितना देखा है आप उतनी बात कर सकते हो, राइट? तो जिस तरह से लोग तैयार होते हैं किसी फ्री वीडियो से, डेमो देख के, यूट्यूब से, तो ज्यादातर इस तरह से जो लोग इस तरह से तैयार होते हैं वो उस तरह का नॉलेज है. और यही से पता चल जाता है कि आपकी तैयारी कहाँ से हुई है, आपकी ट्रेनिंग कहाँ से हुई और आपको कितना नॉलेज है. ठीक है, अगर आप बोल रहे हैं कि मुझे 2 साल का 3 साल का नॉलेज है और आप कह रहे हैं कि 3 साल की 3 ही रिलेशनशिप है, आप इमीडिएटली रिजेक्ट हो जाएंगे. क्यों? 3 साल में कभी भी 1 to 1 नहीं बनाया, 3 साल में कभी भी हायरार्की रिलेशनशिप नहीं देखी, कैसे पॉसिबल है? अगर आप फ्रेशर और कह रहे तो ठीक है, चलो मैं फिर भी मान सकता हूँ, हालांकि आप गलत हैं, फिर भी अज्यूम कर सकता हूँ. लेकिन अगर आपके रेज्यूमे पे मैंने एक्सपीरियंस पुट कर रखा और आप कह रहे हो कि देयर आर ओनली 3 काइंड्स ऑफ रिलेशनशिप, इमीडिएटली रिजेक्टेड ऑन द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन. तीसरे चौथे क्वेश्चन में खत्म हो गया, आगे 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 बढ़ने की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगी. तो दैट इज व्हाई देयर आर नॉट 3 नॉट 4, देयर आर 6 काइंड ऑफ रिलेशनशिप. तो क्योंकि यहाँ पे दिखती 3 है इसलिए लोग आंसर 3 देते हैं. ठीक है, लेकिन इसके बियॉन्ड में जाके फिर आपको पढ़ाने वाला हूँ, इसलिए ध्यान रखें कि आपकी ट्रेनिंग सही जगह हो. चलिए, so we are about to create a relationship with what kind of relationship? Presently we are creating lookup relationship, and so select this lookup relationship, click on the next button. So on this page it will ask you, चलो आपने child तो दे दिया, who is going to be the parent? Who is the parent? Child तो हमने देख लिया भाई, child है, position और position object भी हम field create कर रहे हैं, but who is the parent? Parent is the hiring manager, and so you need to select on this particular page you need to select related to whom. Related to whom means select the parent. Parent is hiring manager. Parent is hiring manager. Select hiring manager, click the next button. You want to give the field name, give a bit, otherwise just tap, यहाँ पे cursor लाओ, tap press कर दो, that's it, field has been created. Go with the default selection, whatever this thing has been written over it, go with the default selection, click the next. Internet. check this implement speed. Okay, then come to this page, visible. Make it visible. Click the next. Okay. Every page have its own layout. We have seen this. Every object has its own layout. Let it be land on the default layout. What's default? Position layout. Let it be land on the default layout. Next. Click the next button. Save it. And you see one field has been created. How will you identify this? The field is created. Go to the custom field and relationship section. There you will see that one field called as hiring manager with this API name. I'm going to tell you what is API. Don't worry about this. A field has been created. What is the data type of this field? The data type is lookup. It's a lookup relationship field and it is related to hiring manager object. We have created one field. Now let's see this field on the user interface level also. Let's go to the position object. Let's go to the position object and see how does it looks like. Go to new. Let's create a position. Let's create a position called as, a Salesforce developer position. The HR email ID is something abc@gmail.com. Number of vacancies is actually 50. The contact number is this one. This opportunity, this position is being generated for the Bangalore location. Okay. With some skills required, with some, minimum budget is this and the maximum budget is this. This is the opening date and this, let me have the closing date for this also. So in the September, let me select this 30th or September. Now let's select this hiring manager for this. See, this is your relationship field. See how does it looks like. This is the name of this field, what you have given the label. Okay. There's a lookup icon over here. This is a lookup icon. With this lookup icon, I'm going to select a hiring manager for this particular position. Now, who is going to handle this position? Java developer. Let me first see how many hiring managers I'm having. Let me first see. Let me open this in another tab. Manish and Ramkumar. Let me try to insert few more records over here because I should have, so many hiring managers. I should have so many hiring managers. Let me give this abhi@gmail.com. The location belongs to Chennai and let me save this. Let me clone it and try to create some more layer records. Maybe Adit Sharma with this name, with this, he belongs to Delhi. Let me try to create a few records first. We are going to use, we are going to require so many hiring managers, and so, I'm creating a few records inside this. Let me have this. Sneha, and she belongs to Kochi. Let me save this. Let me once again clone this and create this as Swati Mari, and she belongs to Mumbai. Let me save this. Let me create few more records. Let me create few more records. And this guy belongs to Nagpur. जितने भी दोस्तों के नाम याद है मुझे सारे लिख डाल रहा हूँ यहाँ. पंजाब का दोस्त था मेरा ये. Okay, so if I now go to hiring manager, I can see I have so many names over here. I have so many names over here. Okay, so now let's once again go to this position. We are about to create a position called as Salesforce developer with all these details. Number of vacancies is 50, and for this is just for the Bangalore location with this, travel required or the passport is also required. This is the opening date and the closing date. This hiring manager, this hiring manager should close this position on and before this milestone date. He can offer minimum this and maximum he can go with this. He can offer minimum and the maximum. Now let me select a hiring manager for this. Select this. So once you click this, once you click this particular lookup icon, see how does it opens, it opens all the hiring manager records. In this way, this way is, we call this position is related to the hiring manager. Just click on this lookup icon and see the names of all hiring managers are saved. Let's give this position to the Pratap Singh, and now let me save this. So I created one position record. Let me close all this. A Java developer. Let me have a few columns over here. यहाँ पे सिर्फ अभी position name दिख रहा है. Let me edit this recent record section. हमने editing सीखी है. Let me have few more columns over here. Let me add this travel required, passports required, and now let me save this. Now see how does it looks like. So we have two positions inside the org. Salesforce developer, that is being allotted to the Pratap Singh. Java developer presently is not allotted to any hiring manager. So let's open this Java developer and let's allot this to someone. Go to edit page. Although you can edit here also in the detail layout. Also you can perform the inline editing. But go to this Java developer edit page. Select a hiring manager for this position. Let's select the Abhishek Rurikar and let me save this. So now if I go to the positions homepage, I see that I have two positions. Java developer is being given to Abhishek. He is the hiring manager who's handling this position. Salesforce developer is being handling by the Pratap Singh. So this is how we create the lookup relationship between two objects. This is how we create the lookup relationship between the two objects. Okay? चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Now, what are the observations? I have written few observations. Why? Because I want all you to create the relationship differences between the lookup and the master. So you need to write down the differences and then you need to give them in the interview also. At least 3 to 4 concrete points, 3 to 4 concrete points out of all these. You need to give them as a difference between lookup and the master. The most repeated question. What is the difference between lookup and the master? Most repeated question. What is the difference between lookup and the master? Detailed relationship. Difference between lookup and the master relationship. How you implement many to many. Okay, that's a different story. But then what is the difference between lookup and the master detailed relationship? Okay. What are the different types of relationships? So these are the few basic questions, and these are the most repeated questions what you see in the interview. So let's discuss a few observations. So first of all, upon mapping the let me go to this schema builder. I created the relationship. Abhi dikh raha nahi hai because मैंने refresh नहीं किया है. Now let me try to refresh this. And now you see one line has been formed. One line has been formed. We should have some discussion first over here. Then we are going moving further. See, now we see that these two objects are now related. Before it was two individual objects, but now I can see these two objects are related to each other. And you see how does the lines actually looks like. Now let me tell you something. See, this end. By the way, your hiring manager is the parent object, and your position is the child object. Okay. So how does it looks? The line looks like. Identify this line. Identify this line. On the parent end, it's 1. On the parent end, it's 1. On the child end, it's many. Child end, it's many. It's have many branches over here. There's only one branch. There's only one branch over here, but here I can see there are many branches. And so see, and so the kind of association between parent and the child is always 1 to many. 1 to many. That means one parent could have many childs. One parent could have many childs. It's a real-time concept. It's a real-world concept. It's a real-world concept. There's no, there's nothing, ऐसा कुछ opposite नहीं है ये. It's a very obvious concept. If we relate it to ourselves, yes, we can relate it that one parent is having many child. I'm having 3 kids. So I'm the parent, I'm having 3 kids, So this is how I can relate it to myself. You can relate it to yourself. One parent is having many children. So always remember, if you see this diagram, you can easily identify by seeing this diagram. Just by looking into the diagram, you can identify which one is the parent and which one is the child. From the parent end, you see the line is only 1. On the child end, the line is many. The child end, the line is many. And apart from this, if you put your cursor over here, you see how does it looks like. क्या यहाँ पे लिख के आ रहा है. Now, whenever we, pronounce this relationship, the pronunciation always go like, you always need to say the name of child first, then say the name of parent. While you are pronouncing this, while if you are, if you are talking about relationship, if you are describing the relationship to someone, you first say the name of child and then say the name of parent. This is the right pronunciation. This is the right pronunciation. First of all, say the name of the child. And that is why here, it's a lookup relationship. From what? From position. The first name what comes here is the child. The second name what comes is the parent. And this is how always in the database also, if someone has, out of you, if someone has maybe has कभी तो भी जिंदगी में अगर SQL पढ़ा है और Oracle पढ़ा है, I mean they are agree with me. Okay, in the Oracle, in the SQL, whenever these objects are related, when the two tables are related to each other, so always the name of child table comes first, then the name of parent table comes later. Okay, so this relationship is always pronounced like this. You always say the name of child, then say the name of parent. Okay, and by looking into this, you can now assume, okay, which one is the parent, which one is the child. Okay, these are the few observations. पहला observation ये था मेरा. So let's come to this relationship. आज थोड़ा सा slow रहेंगे हम because we have so many things to discuss. उसके बाद ही हम आगे बढ़ सकेंगे, ठीक है? तो आज थोड़ा सा हम slow चलेंगे. Just you to understand the concept in a deep, that is fine. So upon mapping the relationship, my first observation is that when I map the relationship between two objects, it provides me one-to-many association by default. And I see that one parent is having more number of child records. That is the kind of association which is created when we create a relationship between two objects. This is the first observation. Okay. The next, a lookup relationship can be formed between the two objects, even if the object have some previous records. If you remember, see, when I created this relationship, I just created Salesforce developer just now, but previously it was having Java developer. And you remember this position Java developer was not assigned to this. It was not assigned to this. So this record, this position was the child object. It was having one previous record. It was actually having one old record called as Java. Still, I was able to form the relationship. Still, I was able to form the relationship. Now, what you asked me, sir, is this really a big point? Is this really a big point? Yes, it is. When you come to know the, when we discuss this master detail relationship, there will be one point. Then if the child object is having some previous record, you cannot create master detail, although you can create lookup relationship. Yes. If the child is having some previous record, you can create lookup relationship. It's a kind of flexible relationship. But if the child doesn't have, the child doesn't have, if the child is having some previous record, you cannot create a master detail relationship. So this is one difference point. So we are going to discuss, master detail also. It's a master detail. See this point. If the child, guys, give me a second. It was actually important point. It was actually. Yes. Just give me a second. Give me a second. Let me come back to what I was discussing. So actually, I was telling you about the point. We have seen that I have recorded. Yeah, we recorded starting. Okay. So I am telling you this point that your child was having some previous records. Child was having some previous record. Still, actually, we were able to form the relationship. लेकिन ये मास्टर डिटेल में नहीं होता है, ठीक है? अभी आपने देखा कि दिस पोजीशन ऑब्जेक्ट ऑल्दो वाज हैविंग अ जावा डेवलपर रिकॉर्ड, पहले से पड़ा हुआ था इसमें. स्टिल वी आर एबल टू फॉर्म द रिलेशनशिप. हमने रिलेशनशिप फॉर्म किया, हमें कोई अड़चने नहीं आई इसमें. नाउ द थर्ड पॉइंट इज दैट in the lookup relationship, the lookup field, relationship field is actually optional. Now what does it mean? Having a child, for every child, having a parent is not merely important. Either a child could have a parent, even it could be stored without a parent. Now let me prove this. That creates one position object. Let me create a position object first. For example, the position is actually, Oracle admin. The HR email ID is this. The position status is new position. The number of vacancies for this is almost this. This is the contact number. The location is Bangalore. Travel required, passport doesn't require. Minimum budget is this, maximum is this. Opening date is 2 days and the milestone date is almost this. Okay. See now, I am not selecting hiring manager. Means for this child record, I am not selecting the parent record. Selecting a parent is an optional field. अगर ये mandatory होता, अगर ये required होता, तो यहाँ पर एक red line होती थी इस तरह से. There must be a red line like this. लेकिन आप देख सकते हैं कि ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. So lookup relationship में जो field आप create करते हैं, the relationship field, the lookup relationship field is actually an optional field. You can have a parent for the child record. Even you can store without selecting a parent. Let me try to save this and see what happens. Yes, without any problem, our data is saved. You know, doesn't have any hiring manager here. See, I created one Oracle admin with all this detail. It doesn't have any parent. You know, this Oracle admin record, this child record doesn't have any parent. So in the lookup relationship, selecting a parent, in the lookup relationship, selecting a parent is optional. One child may have a parent, child may have a parent, child could not also have a parent. You know, selecting the parent is an optional piece. But in the master detail, every child record should have a parent. Yeah, padne walo, don't worry. I'm just discussing in point of the difference. You know, I'm discussing this point in और एक point आगे का बता जा रहा हूँ. कोई दिक्कत नहीं. हमने अगर एक चीज ज्यादा की पढ़ लिया तो हमने अच्छा ही किया. कोई बुराई नहीं है इसमें. ठीक है. So in the lookup relationship, having a parent is not essential. You can have a child can have parent, cannot have a parent. But in case of master detail, every child record must have a parent. Must have a parent. That means that field is actually an required field. देखेंगे आगे चल के. Okay. Now the reparent option is by default available. अरे इसका मतलब क्या होता है? इसका मतलब होता है कि we can change the parent of any child at any point of time. If I go to this Java developer, presently this position Java is allotted to Abhishek. You know, Abhishek reported to us that he is actually busy in some other position and he cannot, you know, fulfill this position within the milestone date. So he reported कि यार मेरे से नहीं हो पाएगा. I cannot handle this position. I am already overloaded. Okay, fine, no problem. We can allot this position to someone else. Presently, this position is allotted to Abhishek. Let's change the Abhishek. Let's change the parent record. Let's change the manager. Now I'm allotting this position. Now I'm allotting this position to the Swati Kumari. Let me try to save this. Save, you know. So reparenting option is by default available. Yes, you can change the parent by default. But this is not by default. Although there's a feature, you know, है, लेकिन तरीका दूसरा है. By default, it is not available in the master detail. Master detail में नहीं है. यहाँ पे reparenting option is by default available. है, yes, शुरुआत से ही है. Now see one important point. Upon removing the parent record, only the parent will be removed. And all the associated child will there in the database. Nothing happens to the child if something happens to the parent. Nothing happens to the child if something happens to the parent. Parent removed, parent erased, only the parent is erased. Only the parent is deleted. Child will be there. You know, child will be there. Let me show you that. Let me show you that. See, let's go to the organization. A Java developer position is being allotted to the Swati Kumari. Swati Kumari is the parent for this. Swati Kumari is the parent for this. Let me go to this hiring manager. Let's open the Swati Kumari record. Let's delete the record. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure for this. I deleted this record. Happened to internet. Stay connected. हम 5G पे तो हूँ यार. अब इससे ज्यादा क्या मांग सकते हैं इंडिया में? Already on the 5G. ठीक है. सही. ठीक है. So I deleted this Swati Kumari. You know, now the Swati Kumari is inside the recycle bin. See here, the Swati Kumari is here. What happened to this? What happened to this Java developer? I deleted the parent record. Let's see about the child. What happened to the child? Let me refresh this position. Nothing happened to the child. Only the parent is gone. Only the parent is gone. So if you delete a parent record inside the lookup relationship, if you delete the parent record, only the parent is deleted. Only the parent is deleted and nothing happens to the child. Nothing happens to the child. Child record will be there inside the database. What if I undelete it? What if I restore this? Let me undelete this. Let me undelete this. Let's go to the hiring manager. See, if we now have this Swati Kumari. Okay, Swati Kumari returns. Swati Kumari returns. Let's refresh this. Java developer is now associated with the Swati Kumari. So if the parent comes back, the relationship also comes. If the parent gone, the relationship is gone. Parent gone, relationship gone. Child will be there. Child will be there. Only the parent is gone along with the relationship. If the parent comes back, he comes back along with the relationship. A relationship is again established. Okay, relationship is again established. So upon removing the parent record, only the parent record get removed. Sirf parent record removed hota hai and all the associated child will be there inside the database. Unhe kuch bhi nahi hota hai. Now this is something related to governor limits. This is something related to the governor limits. A child, one child can be associated. Child parent nahi. Child parent nahi. ये point भी गलत बोल रहे थे लोग mock में. ठीक है? In a lookup relationship, inside the lookup relationship, a child can have 40 parents. That means one child can be associated with 40 parents. See, you just now have associated position. Position is a child object. It is associated with the hiring manager. What I am telling is that there is one more object over here. Object number 1. This is number 1. This is number 2. This is number 3. This is number 3. There are so many objects. Let me have this. मैं इस तरह से बनाता है इसको. There are so many objects. Okay, we have so many objects. This is object number 1. This is object number 2. This is object number 3. This is object number 4. And then ... This is object number 40. There are 40 objects. All of them are related with this position. All of them are related with the position. By the way, all of them are parent. All of them are parent. And position is the common child for everyone. So child end से देखेंगे आप हमेशा. A child object can maximum have 40 parents. A child can have maximum 40 parents in the lookup relationship. A child can have maximum 40 parents in the lookup relationship. A child can have maximum 40 parents in the lookup relationship. यहाँ parent की बात नहीं, parent से child नहीं देखना है, आपको देखना है इस end से. Child to parent देखना है हमेशा. Child to parent देखना है हमेशा. ठीक है? A child object can be associated with 40 parents. One child object can have 40 parents. Parent को child कितने रहेंगे ये नहीं पूछना मुझसे आप. Child के parents कितने वो बता रहा हूँ मैं आप. One child can be associated with 40 parents. 40 parents, 40 parents. Not more than that. अगर आप 41 से association करने जाओगे तो यहाँ पे error आ जाएगा. This cannot be done. One object can be associated as a child. One object can be associated with 40 parents, not more than that. ठीक है? This is a governor limit that you need to remember. और पता नहीं क्यों इसको भी लोग गलत बता रहे थे. बड़ा सिंपल सा कंसेप्ट है. तो मॉक इसीलिए होते हैं. मॉक इज नीड टू रेक्टिफाई योर ऑल कंफ्यूजन्स. मॉक इज नीड टू रेक्टिफाई कि कहाँ पे आपकी गलतियां हो रही है. और बिना मॉक के मैं वैसे भी किसी का रेज्यूमे अप नहीं करता हूँ. और ये मॉक्स इसीलिए लेता हूँ, मैं लेता हूँ. और इसके लिए बहुत टेक्निकल लोग हैं जो लेते हैं. और मैं पहले उनके क्वेश्चन देखता हूँ क्योंकि ये लोग वो हैं जो रिक्रूटमेंट में बैठते हैं. और मैं देखता हूँ कि क्या नए क्वेश्चन ये पूछ रहे हैं और फिर वो क्वेश्चन के आंसर्स मैं देता हूँ. ठीक है, चलिए. नाउ फ्यू मोर थिंग्स अभी तो नहीं आएंगी, लेकिन हाँ बाद में पढ़ना है, लेकिन अभी से याद करना है. शेयरिंग सेटिंग्स और सिक्योरिटी सेटिंग. चाइल्ड की ये दोनों सेटिंग, इट डिपेंड्स, इट डजंट डिपेंड्स ऑन द पेरेंट. चाइल्ड की शेयरिंग सेटिंग, चाइल्ड की सिक्योरिटी सेटिंग आर इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ द पेरेंट. पेरेंट की सेटिंग्स अलग रहेंगी, चाइल्ड की सेटिंग्स अलग रहेगी. कहाँ? लुकअप में. कहाँ? लुकअप में. मास्टर डिटेल में जो पेरेंट की सेटिंग है वही चाइल्ड की सेटिंग रहेगी. आप पढ़ने वाले, ठीक है, डोंट वरी. अभी के केस में जो पॉइंट है उसी पे फोकस करिए. The sharing setting and the security setting of the childs that are independent of the parent. Parent have a separate set of setting. Your child has a separate set of settings. Okay. These two objects are entirely different. These two objects are entirely different. If you delete the parent, only the parent is deleted. It has nothing to do with the child. Only the relationship is gone. That's it. This is the only जो नुकसान हो रहा है उसका वो ये कि बस रिलेशनशिप जा रहा है. चाइल्ड नहीं जा रहा, चाइल्ड इज देयर इनसाइड द ऑब्जेक्ट। देन थर्ड, a roll-up summary can only be created in the master detail. It cannot be created on the lookup relationship. Roll-up summary cannot be created on the lookup relationship. Roll-up summary, what is a roll-up summary? We are going to discuss. मैंने बताया आपको पहले ही, सारी चीजें लिस्ट आउट करके दी, उसमें एक पॉइंट roll-up summary भी है। Roll-up summary cannot be created on the lookup relationship, but then I am going to tell you one relationship, one lookup relationship where you can create the roll-up summary. While I'm almost about to end this, मैं उसके बाद क्वेश्चन लेता हूँ, ठीक है? So roll-up summary field cannot be created in the lookup relationship, but then let me tell you, in the entire Salesforce ecosystem there is only one lookup relationship, और जहां पे roll-up summary लग सकती है। कोई नहीं बताता, मैं बताऊंगा आपको, डोंट वरी, ठीक है? और वही आपका बहुत स्पेशल पॉइंट रहेगा इंटरव्यू में, जब ये पॉइंट एक्सप्लेन करोगे। The roll-up summary cannot be created on the lookup relationship, but there is one lookup relationship where we can create the roll-up summary, and that is this relationship. ये आप बताओ। तो ये कुछ ऐसी चीजें हैं जिसके थ्रू आप शॉर्टलिस्ट होंगे आगे चल के, ठीक है? और वो चीजें मैं आपको बताऊंगा, डोंट वरी। ये भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है, ये पॉइंट अभी डिस्कस करेंगे, लुकअप मास्टर डिटेल में डिस्कस करेंगे, और इसके बाद में आपको एक इंटरव्यू क्वेश्चन होगा सिनेरियो का, फिर हम बात करेंगे उसके ऊपर, ठीक है? When are you creating the role lookup relationship? एक बड़ी फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी मिलती है लुकअप रिलेशनशिप के साथ, वो ये कि पेरेंट और चाइल्ड दो ऑब्जेक्ट्स होते हैं। जब हम रिलेशनशिप क्रिएट करते हैं तो दो तरह के ऑब्जेक्ट्स होते हैं, पेरेंट ऑब्जेक्ट और द चाइल्ड ऑब्जेक्ट। पेरेंट ऑब्जेक्ट और चाइल्ड ऑब्जेक्ट। देखिए, पेरेंट ऑब्जेक्ट कुड बी योर स्टैंडर्ड ऑब्जेक्ट, इवन द कस्टम ऑब्जेक्ट। चाइल्ड ऑब्जेक्ट भी आपका स्टैंडर्ड और कस्टम कोई भी रह सकता है, मतलब पेरेंट और चाइल्ड कोई भी रह सकता है लिटरली। यू कैन मैप स्टैंडर्ड विद द स्टैंडर्ड। आप चाहो तो पेरेंट और चाइल्ड दोनों को स्टैंडर्ड कर दो, पेरेंट को स्टैंडर्ड करके चाइल्ड को कस्टम कर दो, ये भी चलता है। आप कस्टम ऑब्जेक्ट को पेरेंट बना दीजिए और कस्टम को मैप करिए स्टैंडर्ड के साथ कि भाई कस्टम जो है वो पेरेंट रहे और स्टैंडर्ड आपका चाइल्ड। जैसे कि हायरिंग मैनेजर कस्टम ऑब्जेक्ट है, उसको पेरेंट बना दीजिए। अकाउंट आपका स्टैंडर्ड ऑब्जेक्ट है, उसे चाइल्ड बना दीजिए, कोई प्रॉब्लम। कस्टम ऑब्जेक्ट को ही पेरेंट रखिए, कस्टम ऑब्जेक्ट को ही चाइल्ड रख दीजिए, जैसे कि हायरिंग मैनेजर और पोजीशन को आपने रिलेट कर दिया, ठीक है? तो इस तरह से आपको ये समझ में आता है कि लुकअप रिलेशनशिप बहुत ज्यादा फ्लेक्सिबल है। लुकअप रिलेशनशिप बहुत ज्यादा फ्लेक्सिबल है, ठीक है? और यहाँ पे पेरेंट और चाइल्ड कुछ भी रह सकते हैं, चाहे तो स्टैंडर्ड ऑब्जेक्ट, चाहे तो कस्टम ऑब्जेक्ट। अब ये मास्टर डिटेल के बाद में भी ऐसे कुछ ऑब्जर्वेशन है जो हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं, कल हम इस चीज पे चर्चा करेंगे। पहले हम एक दो चीजें हैं जो उसकी पहले पढ़नी है, लुकअप डायलॉग बॉक्स और लुकअप फिल्टर कॉन्फ़िगरेशन। उसके बाद में फिर हम मास्टर डिटेल पे जाएंगे। मास्टर डिटेल रिलेशनशिप क्रिएट करने के बाद फिर कुछ ऑब्जर्वेशन, यही जो मैं कह रहा हूँ, ये करेंगे, और फिर हम उसके बाद में आपसे कहेंगे कि आप अब डिफरेंस क्रिएट करिए बिटवीन लुकअप रिलेशनशिप एंड द मास्टर डिटेल रिलेशनशिप, ठीक है? तो इस तरह से स्टेप बाय स्टेप हर चीज पढ़ाई जाएगी और आपको पूरे कॉन्सेंट्रेशन से हर चीज को पढ़ना है। जो चीज मैं लिखने बोल रहा हूँ उसे लिखना है, ठीक है? और बिल्कुल कॉन्सेंट्रेट रखिए। अभी यहाँ से आप जो है एक्चुअल कोर्स में इंसर्ट हो चुके हो और अब आप सीरियसली इस चीज को आगे जो है मतलब आगे ध्यान देके करना है इस चीज को।